Man be man is back.
Oh, oh my gosh, the ring got messed up.
This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard. You know what I'm saying? That's true. You know what I'm saying? But oh, look at that! Oh my God!
This is your boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video for you guys. And earlier this year, I gave you guys my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year 2022. Now, a number of those movies were pushed back to next year. So, if y'all go back and I'll have the link to it in the description box below. But if y'all go back and rewatch that video, a number of those movies were not released this year, and they've been pushed back to next year. But some of those movies did come out this year, and I did see most of them. The only one I didn't see was Turning Red. I still need to see that one. But despite that, I still managed to get 10 movies in this year, exactly 10. So there's no honorable mentions for this list. So, with all that said, here are my top 10 movies of the year 2022. Let's start off with number 10, Morbius. Morbius, that gotta be one of the most meme movies ever. It's actually funny. So, check this out. We all know this is under, it's obviously a Marvel, based on the Marvel comic character. And this is under Sony, unfortunately. So, this joint was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing and production companies involved with Columbia Pictures, Marvel Entertainment, Arad Productions, and Tone Match Productions. So, this joint came out March 10th at Plaza Carso, wherever that is. That is in Nuevo. That's in Mexico City. But it came out throughout the U.S. on April 1st, which is funny. And then, because of the meme, the people behind the movie thought, oh, people want to watch it again. So they re-released it again this year, only to bomb. And it was funny. It was really, really funny. Now, let's get to the plot. So basically, Morbius got hit with some type of disease, and he's been trying to find a cure for it, for him and his brother, whatever. And he somewhat found a cure, but it gave him vampire powers, and then his brother, if memory serves correctly, found the cure as well, but, and then the cure basically got to his head, so now he started killing people, drinking blood, and Morbius trying to fight that as well, and, they fought, obviously, and his girlfriend nearly died, but she's got the vampire thing inside of her as well, so, very interesting stuff right there. Now, the movie was okay. It's obviously not the best movie of the year. Otherwise, it would be higher than number 10. But nevertheless, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Am I recommending that you go see it? Like, pay money to see it? No. Am I recommending that you go buy it on Blu-ray DVD? No. Am I recommending that you sign up to whatever streaming service this movie will be on just to watch it? No. What I'm saying is this. If you just so happen to see this movie for free, go ahead and watch it. If you don't want to watch it, I'm not going to fault you. So, that's Morbius. Let's move on to number 9, Jurassic World Dominion. So, this was the final movie to the whole Jurassic World trilogy right here. And they brought back some of the members of the original Jurassic Park movie, which was cool. I will admit that was cool. So, this joint came out in Mexico City. This joint came out May 23rd of this year, obviously, and it came out June 10th throughout the U.S. And it was distributed by Universal Pictures, and the production companies involved were Amblin Entertainment, the Kennedy Marshall Company, and Perfect World Pictures. So, basically, the deal here is this. There's this company that, they basically kidnapped our favorite raptor. I forgot what her name is. But the daughter, not our favorite raptor. Our favorite raptor's daughter, actually. I don't remember what their names were, but the baby raptor got kidnapped. And of course, the main character from the Jurassic World movies had to go and save it. And he went across the old cast from the original Jurassic Park movies. So, and then they all worked together to, one, stop this company, and then try to survive, and then rescue the baby raptor. So that's basically it. It's not bad. Like, there was a little bit some scary moments, but not really. It was mostly some funny moments than scary moments. But nevertheless, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's not top 5. It's obviously not top 7 or 8, but it still was a great movie. I ain't go front. It was a great movie. So if you haven't seen it, I would probably say watch the other Jurassic Park movies up to this point, then watch it. But if you don't feel like doing all that, I'm not gonna fault you again. You know, I'm not gonna give you a hard time over that. Alrighty then, let's move on to number 8, Uncharted. So this one came out, okay, here we go, in Barcelona first, February 7th. And then about, 11 days later, it came out throughout the US in February the 18th. So this joint was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing, obviously. And the production companies involved were Columbia Pictures, PlayStation Productions, Atlas Entertainment, and A2 Productions. So basically, here's what happened. So Nate Drake basically is trying to find clues to find his missing brother Sam. In the process of that, he went across Victor Sully Sullivan, who used to work with Sam. So basically, they're trying to find, this lost treasure that Sam was looking for, and trying to find Sam in the process. And then, of course, there's some betrayal and stuff like that. There's this one lady who wants the treasure. There's this group of treasure hunters that want the treasure as well. So obviously there's a lot of shooting, there's a lot of fighting and stuff like that. And all that goes on. And the movie ain't bad. Like, the movie ain't bad. The movie's good. I ain't gonna lie. The movie is good. So this is one of the ones I would probably say, like, yo, it's not to the point where you should sign up for a streaming service to see this movie, but it's still a good movie. Like, if it's just happy to be on, watch it. I would highly recommend you watch it for free, without question. This was a great movie. I ain't gonna lie. So let's move on to number 7, Lightyear. All right, so Lightyear came out on June 8th in El Captain Theater, which is in Hollywood. Okay, not the New Mexico or Mexico City related or anything like that. And then it came out throughout the U.S. on June 17th. And obviously, this was under Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. That's what distribution. And production companies involved with Walt Disney Pictures and Pixar Animation Studios, obviously. So, if you thought this was going to be like Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, nope. And if you thought it was going to be like Buzz Lightyear Star Command, nope. So, we got a serious Buzz Lightyear here. So, basically, here's what happened. So, Buzz Lightyear and his best friends, Alicia Hawthorne, they landed on a planet while the rest of their Star Command comrades were like asleep in some type of tube or whatever the case may be. Well, what happened was the planet turned out to be alive and they were all trapped on the planet. But they did manage to make civilization on the planet. And meanwhile, Buzz was trying to conduct these tests to try to get himself and his teammates off the planet. But every time he does the test, he's gone for a long time and he doesn't age. So, like, the test lasts for 4 minutes. But on this planet, 4 years have passed. So, but he kept going. He kept going. He kept going. He doesn't age, while everybody else around him age to the point where his best friend got married. They got, I think, a kid. And eventually, she died of old age. So, yeah. And it made sense what happened. He skipped another 22 years into the future where he met a grown-up Izzy, who is his best friend's granddaughter. So basically what happened is there's nobody 22 years in the future. There's nobody from Star Command that's left because evil Emperor Zurg, not evil Emperor, but Zurg basically showed up with a bunch of robots that took over. And the only ones who are left outside of Lightyear are these space cadets, which sounds like Star Command, but it's not Star Command. It's not the same catch from Star Command, Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It's not them. It's not them. And basically he had to work with them, even though he preferred to work alone. You know how Buzz is at times. But he had to work with them to stop Zurg, who is, spoiler alert, an older version of Buzz. Which is funny. So he had to stop an older version himself from basically carrying out his plans and stuff like that. and to basically get back to the present, which ultimately he does not do, actually. He does not do. So, and remember says correctly, I believe, no, he actually accepts that this planet is his home now. So so basically, instead of trying to get off the planet, he accepts the fact that, yeah, you know what? Let's just chill here. You know, so there you go with that. But in the post-credit scene, Zug survived. So, yeah, more from Lightyear. So the Lightyear movie, here's the thing. It was good. It was better than the previous 3 movies because, you know, the stories and, you know, the tribulations that all of them went through, including Buzz. But it just the Buzz character, man. It was Buzz's character. You know, I was hoping it would be more like Buzz Lightyear Star Command. But that's not what we got here. So that was a bit of a letdown. But nevertheless, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. It should be on Disney Plus. So if you got Disney Plus, I highly recommend you check it out. Now, speaking of movies that should be on Disney Plus, this one should be on Disney Plus right now. And that is this. Number 6. Thor, Love and Thunder. Oh, man. This one, wow. This is where things get good. Like, really, really good, rather. So, basically, this joint came out June 23rd at El Captain Theater again. And it came out July 8th all throughout the U.S. So, the distribution was done by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, obviously. And the production company was strictly Marvel Studios. That's it. So, what's the deal here? So, Thor, we all start off with Thor chilling with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then he received a distress signal from Sif. So, he left them and went back home because apparently there's a god killer going around killing gods. And Sif got messed up, apparently. Meanwhile, his ex-girlfriend, Jane Foster, she's suffering from stage 4 terminal cancer. And then the crazy thing was, she traveled to New Asgard hoping that Thor's hammer Mjolnir, which was previously fractured by Hela from the last Thor movie, might heal her. And not only did the Mjolnir came back together, but it did. It kept her alive, temporarily. So Thor arrives at New Asgard, which is on Earth, by the way, and fighting against this god killer and all of these shadow monsters. And now he found alongside Jane. So there was a female Thor who just so happened to be Jane, and boom, there you go. So obviously Thor teaming up with, whoever's left of his old squad and Jane. And there's obviously this on again, off again relationship thing between the two of them because they're ex, and the on again, off again relationship between Thor and Mjolnir because Thor got a new hammer now. So, and his new hammers, it's weird. It's very, very weird. But it's funny nevertheless, and the story is very interesting. And the main villain actually got a daughter. If memory says it correctly, I think the daughter was brought back to life, but the main villain died. And basically, and also Jane died because of the cancer and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was the daughter now fights alongside Thor, which is funny. So now she's the one using Mjolnir. And what happened is Jane, apparently when you die as a god, you get, I forgot where you get sent. You get sent somewhere. So the gates of Valhalla. And she was welcomed by Heimdall. So that was pretty cool. So obviously more stuff we're happy with Jane, even though she technically died. But yeah, this was a funny movie. I will admit this was a funny movie, but this was a good movie nevertheless. I feel like it don't stack up with some of the previous Thor movies, but nevertheless, this was a funny movie nevertheless. It is, especially because they had Guardians of the Galaxies for like the first 5 to 10 minutes. And it was like, why were they there? Like, they was not, I was expecting some grand adventure involving them, but he left them. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that made no sense. So that brought it down a bit. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy really had their own movie next year, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, outside of that, this was still a good movie, nevertheless. Let's move on to number 5, The Batman. Okay, so this joint came out March 3rd. March 3rd? What the heck is that? Came out March 1st at the Lincoln Center, which is the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, which is in Manhattan. Okay, something new. And it came out 3 days later all throughout the U.S. and, obviously March 4th. So the distribution behind this were done by Warner Brothers Pictures, obviously, and the production company was done by DC Films, obviously, 6 in Idaho, and Dylan Clark Productions. So this is basically year 2 of Batman, pretty much. So they skip year 1, and this is from a different universe. This does not involve in the same universe as Black Adam or Justice League or anything like that. This is a completely different universe with a completely different Batman. So the main villain here is the Riddler. Even though you got the Penguin in there still causing trouble, the main villain here is the Riddler. Now, at this point, Batman is starting to win the police over. Like, the police are kind of starting to trust him, but he's really cool with Commissioner. Well, he's not even the commissioner yet. He's really cool with Lieutenant Gordon, but he's going to become the commissioner because the commissioner, Pete Sabas, got killed by the Riddler. So basically, he had to find the Riddler, and also Catwoman is out for revenge as well. So there's that, not against Batman, but against, I believe, the Riddler as well. So there's that. And also she kind of falls for Batman, and she's actually bisexual like she is in the comics, apparently. So there's that as well. This is a really long movie. This was a really, really long movie. Like, no joke here. And, oh yeah, Falcone. Falcone is in this movie. That's right. So that's another villain right there. So, yeah. And she tried to get revenge on him, who turns out to be her father, which is that legit in the comics? Yeah. I don't know about that. But, yeah. So that's the thing. So, Carmine Falcone. So that's interesting. So, yeah. So Batman had to stop the Penguin. He had to stop Falcone and ultimately stop the Riddler from destroying the city. And it's got a really dark feel. Like, this is like legit feel like a Batman. Like, you know, so you got that dark feel to it. There's some things that I don't like. The whole Catwoman scenario, I felt like she was swooned by the Batman way too soon. Because normally they would be like on again, off again, like enemies. Not to the point where they try to kill each other, but like she would flirt with him, but at the same time she would want to steal. So yeah, there you go with that. But that's not the case here. So that's interesting. I also don't like how Bruce is portrayed. Never mind Batman. How Batman portrayed was dope. But how Bruce was portrayed, he looked like a gothy loner. Like, so, and that's, to me, that's not Bruce at all. I don't know. Like, so that, to me, that's weird. That's very, very weird as well. So, but again, there was some downs because of the ones that I mentioned. But nevertheless, phenomenal movie. Very long movie, but a phenomenal movie nevertheless. Alrighty then, from one DC hero to another, let's move on to number 4, Black Adam. So Black Adam came out October 3rd. Oh, here we go again, back in Mexico City. And then October 21st, it came out everywhere. Well, in the US, that is. So, the distribution was done by Warner Brothers Pictures, duh. And the production was done by New Line Cinema, DC Films, duh. 7 Bucks Productions, and Flynn Pictures Company. So, here's the deal. Ooh, this backstory. This backstory was crazy. Oh my God, this backstory. It was crazy good, the backstory. So, basically, if memory serves it correctly, and spoilers alert here, the comic Black Adam had a son. What's his name? His name was Tef Adam. I think that's his name, Tef Adam. So, he had a son. Now, his son was the original Black Adam. So, back in the day, you know, Black Adam, he's like a character that lasted for years, or whatever the case may be. So, his son was the original Black Adam, while his father, Ted Adam, was like the scared guy, like, no, don't do that, you know, don't do this, blah, 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 prior to his son being the Black Adam. So, his son was the Black Adam, and what happened was, he obviously transformed back into the kid, and then he got shot by an arrow, and also his mom got killed. I think this happened all at the same time in front of the dad. So he transferred his powers over to his dad. Because it may look like, well, first of all, his son did die, but they may look like he got sacrificed for speaking out against his slave owners, but that's not what happened at all. So that was crazy. But Black Adam is obviously an anti-hero, so basically, he's going around saving this kid because Interpol has been running amok all throughout this. Where were they at? Somewhere like in India. I don't remember where they were at, but or not Interpol, Intergang rather. But yeah. Kondak. How you pronounce that joint? So modern day Kondak. So basically, he protected his kid and his mom from Intergang, and Intergang runs powers that can rival Black Adam. So there was that, and of course the heroes, the Justice Society showed up because Black Adam was deemed as a threat because he was around killing people, or in this case, Intergang. But basically, he turned around and decided to be a hero, and unfortunately, Dr. Fate died in this movie, which is crazy. Again, spoilers, obviously. And there was an awesome fight scene at the end. And in the cut scene, Superman shows up. The dude, he reprised his role as Superman and showed up to talk with him at the end. That was dope. I'm like, oh snap, that looks sick. So, Black Adam, I highly recommend you see this movie. Some people think it wasn't that good. Nah, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. It was, without question, the 4th best movie of the year. I highly recommend you go see it. Now, let's move on to number 3. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Yes, this made it into my top 3, but it wasn't my number 1. So, this joint came out in Hollywood first, October 26th, and then it came out throughout the U.S. on November 11th. So, the distribution was done by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, DUD, and production company was Marvel Studios, DUD. So basically, how they explained T'Challa's death was that he got it from an illness, and she tried to kill him, but she couldn't do it. So obviously, that been haunting her for a while now. And what happened is, we got, what's his name? No, what's his name? Namor. Yes, Namor. He shows up because there's basically a battle over what's the vibranium. Because obviously, so here's the thing. Wakanda got vibranium. The rest of the world wants vibranium, especially America. But Wakanda was like, no. And then obviously they sent some people to try to steal it. Obviously that didn't work. So there's trust issues that Wakanda have with the rest of the world, because they sending people to try and steal the vibranium and all that jazz. And it's no, so there's that. But Namor and his people who live underwater, they got vibranium. So the vibranium, when it landed on Earth, wasn't restricted to Wakanda. It apparently all over. And Namor and his people got some of it. So there's that. And also Namor has been and his people have been killing people who've been trying to get vibranium. So because of this, people are thinking, oh, Wakanda is attacking people trying to get vibranium. So you got CIA agent Everett Ross who is investigating that. And also, yeah, there's that. So now there was some machine that was created, and it was used to try and drill up the vibranium. And it was created by Riri Williams, who we know is Ironheart. And it was crazy. So now Namor wants to kill her because, yo, she created this machine. We can't let her live. So, obviously, you got Shuri and their people trying to protect her. So now there's a battle, and it's an on again, off again battle between the two. And because Namor shared his world with Shuri, and it's gorgeous. This is a gorgeous world. But, again, the whole killing the girl and the vibranium led to the two fighting each other, and it led to the Queen dying in this movie as well. Meanwhile, we got the new Black Panther in the form of Shuri. And yeah, she defeated Namor, but she let him live and basically decided, yo, let's just be allies, which is what he wanted. He wanted to be allies. So he got what he wanted. Namor got what he wanted. He wanted to be allies. And Riri stays alive. Meanwhile, going back to the whole CIA agent, he got arrested because he been holding back information because he's in close contact with Wakanda. So he got arrested for that, but they broke him out. So the reason why this movie was number 3, not higher than that, was because there was a side story. There was a side story involving the CIA agent, which I felt like had nothing to do with the main story at all. And then how they introduced Riri Williams, I felt like they should have done a better job of introducing her because they kind of rushed her introduction. So I felt like she should have had her own movie. I'll be honest. she should have had her own movie. There should have been more of a connection between her and Tony Stark, but there wasn't. So I feel like they rushed her introduction. So she needs her own movie. But nevertheless, it was still a fantastic movie. I loved it. It's, to me, the third best movie of the year. Let's move on to number 2. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So this one came out May 2nd at Dolby Theaters, which is in Hollywood. Okay. And it came out all throughout the U.S. on May 6th. So Doctor Strange is back. And in addition to that, Wanda is back as well. So, and she's the main villain, which is crazy. The Scarlet Witch is the main villain. So here's what's going on. Oh, this was all over the place here. So there's multiple versions of Doctor Strange in this, by the way. So obviously we're dealing with the multiverse. So basically what happened is this. A different version of Doctor Strange was looking for the book of Vigilanti. And here's what happened. This little girl, if memory serves correctly, got the book. America Chavez, I think that's her name. I guess, I don't know. So basically, she got transported to this Earth. I guess this is Earth 616. And along with the course. And this was funny. It was funny. So basically, he tried to protect the girl from Wanda. Because Wanda is still trying to recreate her world, bring her husband back, and bring her 2 kids back. You know, if you've seen the show, WandaVision, yeah, you know what's up. You know what's up. And remember, WandaVision ended, I think, with her and Doctor Strange meeting. So there's that as well. So basically, she's trying to get the girl's powers or this book to try and bring back, or try to make her kids real and try to bring back her husband. And they go for different dimensions. We actually see Charles Xavier, Reed Richards, and Peggy Carter. It was dope. So the Illuminati was in this movie. It was very, very dope as well. Very, very dope. And it was crazy. I like what's going on here. I do not see a lot of faults with this movie. I really, really don't. The only thing I would probably say is that the Illuminati got killed. Like, Wanda showed up and just destroyed the Illuminati. I was like, my gosh, did she destroy them? Like, yo. That's all I can say about that. Just, yo. She straight up murdered the Illuminati. It was out of control. But, great movie. It was not my number 1, though. So, again, there's no honorable mentions. Let me bring to you my number 1 movie of the year. Number 1. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, there's a little bit of favoritism here because Sonic is my all-time favorite video game franchise character. So, there's that. And this movie was, in my opinion, so much better than the first movie. It was so much better than the first movie. So, this joint came out March 30th, 2022, internationally. And it came out April 5th at the Regency Village Theater, which is in Westwood, California, which is somewhere in LA. And it came out all throughout the US on April 8th, excuse me. So this was distributed by Paramount Pictures. And the production companies involved were Sega Sammy Group, Original Film, Mars Animation Planet, and Blood Studios, which is funny. So, this takes place 8 months after the first movie. So, not Knuckles, but basically Eggman escaped that world that he was on. But he was assisted thanks to Knuckles. So, Knuckles helped him out. And they both talked and joined forces. So, obviously, Eggman tricked Knuckles into working with him. Meanwhile, Tails showed up, who'd been following Sonic adventures. And was like, yo, I gotta meet this guy. So, and meanwhile, the 2 humans, they are in Hawaii for a wedding. Not their wedding, but, family members. So, here's what happened. Sonic home alone with the dog. Knuckles and Eggman shows up, and Sonic and Knuckles fight. And Sonic was losing. Tails shows up. Tails helps Sonic escape. And now they gotta go look for, I believe, the Master Emerald. If memory serves it correctly. Yes, the Master Emerald. So it's not. So, is it the Master Emeralds? So they do mention the Master Emeralds, but they also mention the Chaos Emeralds. Well, the Chaos Emeralds was there for one specific reason. I'll get to that in a second. But I try to remember if the Master Emerald was involved. So, remember, Sonic came from, he used to live with a certain group of people, like bird people. Well, they were beefing with Knuckles people over the Master Emerald, which was crazy. So obviously they trying to find the Master Emerald and all that jazz, and they ended up at Hawaii, where it was actually the FBI, or not what they call them, the Guardian Union of Nations gun, who was keeping their eyes on the humans, and they captured Sonic and Tails. And I believe they captured Tom as well. Yes, they did. So it's up to his wife and his sister. And the funny thing was, his sister was the one getting married. And the guy who he was marrying, or she was marrying rather, was an undercover gun agent. So the whole marriage was a fake. So obviously the sister's pissed. And it was hilarious. It was pretty hilarious. So they break out Sonic, Tails, and Tom. They go to stop Robotnik and Knuckles. And Sonic is actually growing up here because now, you know, Tails, he looking at him as like a little brother, but, you know, he's worried. At some point, I think Tails got hurt, so he blamed himself for that. So he tried to go at it alone. And him and Knuckles fight. He won, but they joined forces because Robotnik betrayed him. And, yeah, and Robotnik created this giant robot using either the Chaos Emeralds or the Master Emerald. So here's what happened. So this was, and this is like the only downside to this. The Master Emerald, during the fight, broke into 7 Chaos Emeralds. So the Master Emeralds broke into the 7 Chaos Emeralds in this movie. I'm like, what? Like, why did they do it like that? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. But nevertheless, Sonic used the 7 Chaos Emeralds to transform into Super Sonic and defeated Eggman. And apparently, he killed him. That's how it looked. So there's that. So now Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are cool now. And yeah, and they got the Chaos Emeralds, remember Sister correctly, things of that nature. And I think they all live with the humans, I think. I'm not 100% sure of that. So, great movie, and here's the thing. If you saw the post-credits, Sonic, first of all, Sonic 3 is coming, and it will feature Shadow the Hedgehog. I was flipping out when I saw Shadow. I'm like, oh, snap. So, yeah, this was a phenomenal movie. The best movie of the year. Like, that one little hiccup was the Chaos Emerald splitting into the Master Emerald splitting into the 7 Chaos Emeralds. That was like the only downside to the movie. But outside of that, phenomenal movie. Without question, my #1 movie of the year. So, there's that. I'm going to call it a wrap. So, with all that said, y'all know this is boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.